First Watch now.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch on 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hello, everyone.
So we've got football returning to Cochise County, and you are going to be calling the games once again.
Yes, and it seems like we just finished the season. It's amazing how fast time goes. But yes, we're back. We're going to be at KWCD Country 92.3 right here in Town Square Media.
Yep.
Yes, I got to get that in my system now. So I've been saying Cherry Creek forever. So, yes, so we'll be doing that. August 19th will be our first game. We'll be in Tombstone where they host the Benson Bobcats.
And so it is a little different this year because we've done it on KTAN before. These are all our sister stations. On K101, this year we're moving it to KWCD because country music and Friday night football just makes sense.
We just don't have Carrie Underwood. we got Carol.
Yes.
We just don't have Carrie Underwood.
There you go. And so it's going to be on KWCD this year, so we want to make sure everybody can make the switch, and we'll be advertising that all over the place.
Yes, so we're excited about it. And we're going to do, after that, we're going to the pick between Bisbee and Douglas. We got to get that game. It's a traditional Cochise County game. And then we're picking up the first Buena home game when they'll be hosting the Marana Tigers. So, again, we got a nice schedule. We're going to get that out there on social media, and we're doing quite a few Buena games this year. We're going to do some traveling, doing some traveling. Got my mouse not working. Doing some traveling, too, with Buena this year to give people opportunity to hear your coach playing football this year.
So that's next Friday is the first game, and the pre-game's at 6:30, kickoff at 7 o'clock.
Yes, we're looking forward to it. Everybody tune in. We're looking forward to it.
Even if there's rain, bring an umbrella. Be
Yeah,
prepared.
hey, listen, some of these stadiums like Tombstone, they don't have a press box for us, so we sit out in the bleachers with the people. It's quite unique, but I tell you, it's a hometown football game.
Well, it is going to be raining again this weekend, so we want to make sure everybody gets ready for the rainy season. And one of the things that happens during rain is sometimes there's a power outage, but we want to give a shout-out to Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, also the sponsor of this show.
We do. SSVC's everywhere. The linemen and their teams are out there getting those poles back up, getting that power back up. And, I mean, we see them all over the county right now. We've had a lot of rain. In fact, we're in saturation time. This is probably the most scary time of monsoon because the ground becomes non-tolerant to more rain. So it doesn't take a lot for flash floods, power poles going down. Everything's just slippery, let's put it that way. So they're out there, they're doing their job. We thank you to all our linemen at SSVC to keeping our power on. We take that for granted, but trust me, there's a workforce behind that.
And even taking the power for granted, the Cochise County Emergency Services, they're cognizant of all of that, making sure that we educate our public. And so they were even able to put out a flyer last week that we shared on our Facebook for food safety tips, because if you don't have power, you don't want to be going in and out of your refrigerator. So make sure you pay attention to that, and that brings us to our alert sense also. You can sign up for alerts notifying you of all kinds of different things. So take a look at that. It's on cochise.az.gov, and it's even on r/sheriff. So take a look at our webpage, and there's a place where you can log on and sign up for Alert Sense. And it's a really good deal. It has all kinds of different options that you can sign up for and take care of things like that.
And it's free. It's free. And people always say, Sheriff, we want to know about this. We didn't hear about this. Sign up for it. We put a lot of information out there through our emergency service group, and they put information out all the time, especially when it comes to bad weather or flooding, whatever it may be. So, yeah, I'd encourage people to sign up on that, too.
We had some flooding in Douglas as well.
We did. I mean, Douglas has been hit hard this year. Maybe we don't hear as much over here in Sierra Vista. We've had a lot of rain on this side of the county, the west side, but the east side, Douglas, man, between the macro burst, they call it, we debate that. I mean, but these are the experts calling it a macro burst, to the flooding, to the rain, power poles down, trees. I mean, they've had a rough year down there.
And, you know, the roads are still closed. There's still road closures there. And I know that there's been some complaints about how come we don't update that information more quickly. It's just ever evolving. So we are trying to stay on top of it as far as what's closed and what reopens, and then, you know, the sky opens, and then we're right back to where we started again. So we just want to make sure everybody understands, please do not cross any type of roadway with running water.
Well, I think we need to understand the dynamics. We don't have a team sitting in a room 24/7 waiting to post that stuff. That's you guys. That's Carol and Grady people sitting in the room with me right now, and you guys, it's almost like you guys work 24/7. I mean, you guys do an amazing job of putting information out there when it needs to be put out there, and I'm impressed with you. But we don't have a team that just sits back and goes, what can we put out this hour? I mean, we just don't have that. So we're very reactive to getting information out there. We want to be transparent, but again, we're limited on our infrastructure, the people, to do it.
Well, also, there was a scary moment for a DP officer this week.
There was. And this goes back to the border. And folks, I mean, it's no secret what's going on in Cochise County. There's no secret what's going on with our southern border. But this continues to be a public safety negative impact in Cochise County. Last night, we had a trooper make a traffic stop out in Hereford. Turned out to be a smuggling vehicle. The driver, there was a sergeant there and an officer there. They were trying to detain. There was illegals in the back, illegal migrants in the back of the vehicle. The driver was a 37-year-old male out of Phoenix, uncooperative. And as the young officer was addressing the driver, he took off, dragging the trooper across the highway before the trooper got released and fell out. He obviously was injured. The subject down the road was taken into custody by the troopers. They grappled him, which is our system for interdiction. The deputies and troopers took the scene, got it back in place. Same time, we have an accident 2 miles down the road because of the heavy rain. That our office, sheriff's office deputies took that accident because of the trooper. Trooper was taken to the hospital. I haven't heard an update from him today, but I was talking to the captain here, Dean Chase, last night afterwards, and I'll just say this: enough is enough. It truly is. We're fed up with it. The night before, we had a stolen vehicle out of Phoenix, subjects out of Phoenix, a large amount of illicit drugs in the vehicle. They're not down here to visit our beautiful county. They're down here to commit criminal acts and smuggle. We know that. This person was booked in our jail. Again, every day there's a story out there on our border, and it's not good for Cochise County. But when you look at what's going on, if it wasn't for our troopers, our police department service to PD and Bisbee and Benson, all throughout there, our Border Patrol agents, which I applaud them, and the sheriff's deputies, we're on our own. We truly are. Nobody's stepping up in Washington, D.C. to say, Sheriff, what can we do to help you? I don't get those calls. I'll just tell you right now, I don't get those calls. In fact, what I see on national media is we have a controlled border. Folks, my 38 years of law enforcement is the worst it's been. And I'm telling you, I worry every day. We've seen the death. We've seen the destruction. Is that's going to continue? And whether it be a law enforcement officer or a citizen. But, again, we'll keep doing what we have to do. We'll keep putting these proactive measures together, these task forces together, continue to push forward on this. And but it's something that could be avoidable if we had more support out of D.C. and Congress.
And what you're going to be hearing more about is the new House bill that's coming into effect in September. And Brian McIntyre's office, Brian McIntyre himself, is working diligently to get the footing in place to kick that off the right way.
He is. And let me just applaud Brian. I mean, he's taken these cases. So the situation last night, for example, I mean, his team, very aggressive. He's been at our operation meetings with us. And that's why we sit at 100% conviction rate for those that smuggle drugs in our county, for example. We're not immigration officers. We're state peace officers addressing state crimes. But if you commit a crime down here on smuggling, he's been putting your butt in prison. I'll just tell you right now. That's a strong message. We've been working on the public message, the outreach message. The individual from last night, there's a good chance in 2 weeks he'll be in prison. Brian's expedited the process to get them cleared out of the court calendar, and boom. We have booked over 600 people since January 1 of this year for border-related crimes. 94 pursuit drivers, and that was over a month ago that these numbers came out. So what I'm saying to you is we feel it. Brian's office feels it from the county attorney's office, but they're stepping up, putting people in prison. There is no tolerance for that. And thanks to Brian, we're putting their butts in jail. This guy last night, the odds are, and again, I don't have the crystal ball from me, but based on where we're doing the trends here in Cochise County, he would be going to prison where he needs to be.
And this is the kind of topics that you also talked about with your own staff this week because you had staff meetings.
We did. We've had team meetings all week. This is my annual employee meetings where I meet all my employees, my volunteers, my sworn staff, those in my officers in jail and the team in the jail, our support staff. we come together and we talk about operations. Where have we been over the last year? Where are we going the next year? And it's just we engage with each other and talk about things, and it's refreshing. It's been a refreshing week. I'll just say to the listening viewers this morning, we have an awesome team at Cochise County Sheriff's Office. We have an awesome team between the culture that's set there, which describes our behavior, to them having the passion, the beliefs to do what they do. I mean, you look around the country and look at, and we talked about this, the officer safety factor, that 216 officers have been shot this year, a lot of them by ambush. I mean, we're working in a really rough time right now when it comes to complexities, the scrutiny that we're addressing. But those men and women go out there every day and they do the job. I'm so impressed with them, and I just can't say enough. And extend that to our fellow law enforcement partners. We're keeping Cochise County safest with what we have here, and I'm very excited. Carol, I didn't answer your question on this new bill, this new House bill that the governor signed in, which is a smuggler driving bill. It also protects children when it comes to smuggling. Brian McIntyre, I reached out to Brian and said, hey, can we get a review on this? Brian, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure from what I've been told, will be the only county out of 15 counties that's going to be enforcing this law. And it's sad. It's a law. Will it be challenged? Probably. Yeah. Which law doesn't get challenged? But the bottom line is it's a tool for smuggling. Brian is stepping up, taking risk leadership, community leadership forward to address that. So again, thank you, Brian, for doing that. And we'll get the parameters here real soon how we apply that new law, which I think it goes into effect in about 15 days.
Right. So we can't wait for that and see how that whole thing plays
Yes.
out. And when you were doing your meetings, also you were doing swearing in of new employees. So it's nice to see the fresh, young faces. And I'm not saying young in as much
No.
age, but just young as far as being new to our organization. And it's nice to see that we have new people coming in like that.
It is. You know, recruitment retention's huge. This is, excuse me, it's huge right now in the country of law enforcement based on the landscape. We're doing really well. I mean, where other agencies are really struggling, we're doing really well. Part of it's our marketing, part of it's our reputation, which sells. We have a hometown, like Police Academy here. That helps too, but we're doing really well. Do we have a lot of young ones? 18-year-olds working in our jail. That's young, Carol. You and I have been here 30-plus years, and you're still 28. I'm still 29. Yeah, there we are, right on track. But it's nice to see that, the youth coming into our office, because that's the future. We want to make sure they're thinking why we serve, and that's the community. So it's exciting. I mean, it's an exciting time for us here in law enforcement. Do I see the challenges out there in the future? You bet, but we're going to conquer them. We're going to push forward.
This week you attended the Sierra Vista Spotlight Breakfast.
Right, that Mayor Mueller and put that on behalf of the city council, and very good. They did a very good job. Kudos to the city of Sierra Vista, the leadership over at the city. It was a really nice breakfast on the current happenings at the city. One thing I took away from that meeting was that city of Sierra Vista, their unemployment rate is 3.9%. I don't know if that's the city or the county here, but anyway, it's 3.9%. That's really low. Now, you put that in perspective of challenges of recruitment for law enforcement. Not a lot of talent. So we got to work harder to get that talent, find that talent, get them into our office. Same as the Service Police Department and other agencies here in the county. But it's a competitive world when it comes to badges right now. I mean, I got to say a shout out to our lawmakers and Governor Ducey on this one. Is the state authorized recruitment retention for every sheriff's deputy and every detention officer in the state of Arizona. $53 million budget item. So my deputies and my detention officers all get a stipend here for the next 2 years. Every quarter they'll get $1,250 for the next 8 quarters as a retention recruitment. And then we have a $5,000 sign-on bonus for the next 12 months to be a detention officer and to be a deputy. So that really helps us. The Arizona Sheriff Association, we pushed that really hard. And I tell you, we had 9 sponsors, governor support, and it went through the whole system without problems. So, again, thank you to our lawmakers. We appreciate that. And I know the men and women of the Sheriff's Office appreciate that stipend, too. Just a little extra in a time of hard inflation and high gas prices and everything else out there.
And, you know, speaking of all of those numbers, we've mentioned this before, and we've mentioned it to you in person, and you hopefully have heard it during the meetings, but thank you for working hard on our budget and giving us the raise. We appreciate it because the people who are working there have been getting compensated or compensation as much as we can with our budget. So thank you for working so hard on that.
I appreciate that, Carol, and this is a team effort. And like I told them during team meetings, our employees, they go out every day, excuse me, and they market this agency by their decisions, by their actions. They are the true recruiters, the true marketing outreach team for this office, and they've done a fabulous job. And that goes back to the report card, back to the community. As long as they keep doing that, it's very easy for me to go in front of our board and the state and say, hey, we need this, we need that. And so far we've been very successful. And again, thanks to Ann English, thanks to Peggy Judd for supporting our budget. They supported our budget the last 2 years. They've compensated our employees by giving us the budget so we can reward them through market adjustments.
Well, let's talk about your stop of the week.
It's a unique one. It's a unique one. I left the meeting in Benson the other day, and I'm coming down 90, and I see this motorcycle. And it's all over the place. Going north, I'm going south, and I see it go from one lane to the next lane into the median, back out. I'm thinking drunk. You got an impaired driver. So I do a U-turn, get in behind the vehicle, and it's driving really erratic. I mean, and there wasn't a lot of traffic around this motorcycle. Usually that time of day, around 4 or 5, there's traffic everywhere. But this guy had a lucky time for missing the traffic. But there's no license plate on the motorcycle. So the guy looks at me, keeps on going. I'm like, okay, come on now. Hit the lights. He ends up finally pulling over, and I walk up, and no license, no registration, no insurance, and no experience to ride a motorcycle. But he thought he would just take it on a state highway at 4 or 5 in the afternoon and enjoy the ride. So obviously he got some citations. I wrote him 3 different citations. And I told him, I said, listen, you can't get this thing back on the road. You don't know how to drive a motorcycle. And he goes, I know, I'm trying, though. He's learning. I said, sorry, you can't do that. Folks, there's great safety classes out there. I know they do it at Buena High School. There's a group that comes in and actually uses their parking lot. It's a great way to learn to ride a motorcycle, but don't do it on public roadways where you endanger yourself and others when speeds are up to 65 plus miles an hour. 65 is the limit, but I know people go faster. So, so he ended up getting some tickets. And if you're going to have a vehicle on a roadway, this is another thing I share with people. I shared with him. If you look at the power poles, our SSVEC power poles along the highways, there's a fence usually right next to it. From that fence line all the way across the asphalt to the next fence line, that is the roadway. People think, well, it's just the asphalt or the dirt. No, folks, it's all the way to those power lines. That is part of the public right-of-way. So you can't get out there and start driving and saying, hey, I'm okay, I'm over here. No, you can't do that either. So he ended up getting a citation. Save yourself from that experience, I promise you.
And what about your safety message of the week?
Safety message. And I saw this a couple times. Our rains are getting so heavy right now. This has been a great monsoon, and we're all just embracing the green right now. But with that comes we get a lot of hard rains. Folks, if you're on a highway, and I saw this the other day, and people turn their emergency flashers on and go down the road about 25 miles an hour, I respect you slowing down. But if you're really concerned, pull off the side of the road, turn your lights off. Seriously, turn your lights off. It's like being in the fog. Once you turn your emergency flashers on, people don't know if you're stopped in the roadway. You become more of a hazard than you do not. Pull off the side of the road, turn your lights off, and weather the storm. And that's the safest way to do it. And the reason I say turn your lights off on the shoulder is if they see you, they think you're going down the road too. And so they'll follow in behind you, especially if they get misguided by the lane because you can't see it, so heavy rain. I had 2 of those experiences this week. And when you pass cars with your emergency flashers on, you got to really question what you're doing. You really do. So get off the road, turn your lights off, and wait and weather the storm.
Well, Sheriff Mark Daniels, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Grady, thank you. Carol, thank you. Everybody have a great week. Talk to you soon.
And Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Lily from Sierra Vista Police Department and Sergeant Tim Wachtel from Sierra Vista Police Department.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest from the Sierra Vista Police Department, it's Lily and Tim. Good morning.
Good morning, Grady. Good morning, Cochise County.
Lily and Tim, it sounds like a morning show. It does.
Should be.
Right? Yeah. Well, the Sierra Vista Police Department has a couple of openings that you guys have come to talk about, and they're civilian positions. So, Tim, let's start with you. I understand there's 2 openings.
Yeah, so we do have 2 openings. The first one is the Police Community Service Officer. That position, we do have 2 openings for that civilian position. And basically, that position, we're trying to assist with taking the burden off of the police officers. So this individual or individuals will perform a variety of civilian field and office law enforcement work in direct support under sworn personnel. So anything that you can help us out with as far as the civilian goes, we're looking for some help out there.
So give us some ideas, like traffic would be one of them?
Yeah, traffic, first thing, assist the sworn officers. You can come out there and help take pictures at traffic accidents. We also, the individual will assist our evidence custodian. We only have 1 right now, so when that individual's out, this position will be able to step in and help out. That way our evidence is always open. Customer service, obviously, stuff like that, answering telephones, doing stuff like that. We're also, another task is enforcing city ordinances throughout the city. Variety of clerical work. So basically, your help can be at the station, or your help might be out on the road helping the actual officers on the road with, taking pictures or helping out with accidents, or even helping out at a crime scene as far as you can as a civilian. That's what we're looking for.
And is there like do you get a police car to drive? Is it armed and unarmed?
No, it'll be unarmed. Obviously, okay. You're a civilian, so you will be unarmed. We are going to provide transportation, so you will get a vehicle to go out there. But I do want to let you know that the vehicles will be clearly marked that you're a community service officer. So, again, you're out there just to try to get the burden taken off some of the actual police officers out there right now, because just like every other agency, we're hurting, so we're just trying to help our guys out.
And so basically this is like a job so that an officer that is fully certified can go out and do police officer stuff while they take care of kind of like traffic.
Correct.
Or clerical.
Correct.
That's interesting.
The civilian can do the work that the officer, if the officer needs to concentrate on something that he needs to work on as a certified officer, and the other individual can just help taking care of the small stuff on the side. But I say small stuff, but it's going to be a huge help. Okay,
so we're going to get to how you can apply for that in just a minute. We're going to cover the other job first. So, Lily, what is the other position that is open?
So, Grady, the other position's a civilian police investigator. So we have 1 opening for this position. And basically, this is going to be a full-time, all these jobs that we're talking about today are full-time. So this is going to be a full-time investigator working primarily doing our pre-employment background investigations for, officers we're always recruiting for. They're also going to do like administrative complaint investigations or inquiries regarding police department personnel, internal affairs administrative investigations. They'll also be doing investigations for human resources for other complaints or investigations that happen within the city personnel. And they'll be assisting our sworn investigators with investigations, crime scene processing, evidence collection, criminal intelligence processing, and then all other duties, as assigned. So the qualifications for this one are a minimum, graduation from high school or GED, and 4 years experience in law enforcement investigation, human resources investigations, or a related field. Arizona driver's license, and then their applicants for both these positions cannot have experimented with illegal substances within the last 2 years or used marijuana within the last 2 years, and they'll have to pass employment background, including a polygraph.
And that's for both positions.
That's for,
We
yes.
didn't go over qualifications for the citizens officer. What
Yeah,
are
so
the
qualifications include graduation from high school or GED required, and you must be at least 18 years of age.
Okay, so those are the qualifications.
And just real quick, one more task on the community service officer. You will be expected to work a rotating shift. So, obviously, if you're there to support the police officer, we do have 3 shifts: day shift, swing shift, and midnight shift. So I can't tell you which hours you exactly will be working, but if you are interested, I just want to throw that out there, that you could be working a rotating shift schedule, because obviously if you're out there to support the police officer, we work 24 hours a day. So this position is not guaranteed, 8 to 5 jobs. So just want to give everybody a heads up on that.
And what is the starting pay for both of these positions?
Starting pay for the community service officer is $19.69 an hour.
And for the investigator, it's $43,014, which comes out to $20.68 an hour. Because they are full-time, all of these positions will, obviously, they'll be able to get the benefits. We have great benefits at the city: health insurance, dental, affordable vision coverage. We get paid vacation, holidays, sick leave. So it's really exciting, actually, because it's been a long time since we've opened new positions, so we're kind of growing another branch of our family tree with these civilians that'll really, it gives people in the community that have wanted to be involved in law enforcement but maybe don't qualify or don't really want to be a sworn officer a chance to get involved. So these positions both close on the 21st of August. So it's time, if you're interested, if this sounds like something you want to check out, it's time to put your application in and see what happens.
All right, how do you apply?
The easiest way to apply would be to Google government jobs. And when you get there, get to City of Sierra Vista, and you'll see them listed there.
Okay, so you guys have these positions open till the 21st, so now's the time to build up that resume and get it put in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we thank you both for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's Lily and Tim from the Sierra Vista Police Department. KWCD Country, It's First Watch, brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County. And Ann Thrush, the Executive Director of Lori's Place. Thank you so much for coming in today. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me, and good morning, everyone.
First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Ann Thrush. I'm the Executive Director of Lori's Place, which is the Cochise Family Advocacy Center. I've been there for a little over a year and a half, and basically I keep everything running.
So what does Lori's Place do for our community?
Lori's Place is a very comfortable, friendly, neutral environment for victims of violent crimes to come and get an array of services. We do things from victim advocacy all the way through trauma, and all of our services are free of charge because we are a nonprofit. Some of those services include, obviously, victim advocacy. We do court accompaniment. We help with orders of protection, things like that. We actually kind of often go outside of that. Sometimes, we may have people show up. They could be homeless people, and they're just looking for, a hot cup of coffee in the wintertime or something like that. So we're really there for the community.
And you've been there for a while. I mean, it's a great place that opened up, and it was definitely helping fill a void that we had here in Cochise County. So do you know how long that whole building has been there? Or the whole...
So Lori's Place has been in existence since 2015. I'm personally, like I said, have only been there for a little over a year and a half. However, it has... I couldn't even tell you how many people have been assisted by our services in that time frame. It's been amazing.
So what can the community do for Lori's Place?
Well, as you know, as a nonprofit, we rely on grants, and we do fundraisers and donations in order to cover expenses and so forth. And right now, because of the economically difficult times that we're in, a lot of folks don't have that extra cash that they had before because they're spending more on gas, more on groceries, and just everyday items. So we're really reaching out, trying to get folks who may have that extra cash to help us out because we're having difficulty as well. The bills still have to get paid and our services have to continue. And just to touch on what you said, we actually service Cochise County, Graham County, and Greenlee County. We are part of the multidisciplinary teams for each of those counties. And so it's a large area that we actually support. We are looking for donations. Obviously, monetary donations really help out a lot, but there's a lot of other things. We provide like snacks and like juice boxes and coffee and things like that to our clients when they come in. It's just part of that whole making them comfortable, making them feel relaxed, and being able to provide them with that care that they need in a friendly environment. So that's kind of what we're working on and what we're looking for. We do have a bunch of fundraisers going on right now as well. We have a Got Sneakers fundraiser, which we are collecting lightly used sneakers that folks don't need anymore, and they bring them to our building. We have these prepaid bags and we ship them off, and then basically it's kind of an environmental thing because the organization that we send them off to, what they do is they refurbish those sneakers and then they give them out to other organizations or folks that are in need, and it keeps them out of the landfills. So that's a great one. We also have our Tree of Life, which is a 3D mural in our building that has brass leaves, a couple of acorns, and some river rocks that people can purchase, and we will engrave whether it's their name or maybe their favorite Bible verse or their favorite song, or a loved one that maybe experienced something terrible, or whatever they want that's appropriate. We will engrave on those items. A leaf is $100, an acorn is $250, and a river rock is $500, and that will stay there for as long as that building is there and exists.
So how can people get a hold of you to take advantage of these donations, or if they want to help you out, how can they get a hold of Lori's Place? So
they can come and see us. We are at 214 East Tacoma Street, right here in Sierra Vista. They can call us at 520-515-4444, or they can visit our website, www.loriesplaceaz.org, or our Facebook page, Lori's Place.
All right. Well, we thank you for coming and talking to us today and letting us know that you exist, because the community loves to help, especially organizations like yours.
Yes. If I could, I would like to put out a little bit of a wish list as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you're looking to donate and not necessarily donate financially, we have clients that come from all those ranges of counties, and often, gas is difficult. So gift cards, $50 gift cards, things like that, grocery gift cards, even, gift cards to like Target, because sometimes they don't really have a whole lot of clothing to wear and things like that. So those would be really, really helpful for us in helping our clients.
All right, and give us that contact information one more time, at least the phone number.
The phone number is 520-515-4444, and it is a 24-hour hotline.
Well, Ann, we thank you for coming and talking to us today about Lori's Place.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Huachuca City Director for the Library, Stephanie Fulton.
KWCD Country with First Watch, brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. First Watch on KWCD Country, brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest.
Stephanie Fulton, thank you so much for coming. You are the Director of the Library Services for Huachuca City, so we appreciate you taking your time to come in today.
Thank you both for having me again. I really enjoy coming on. The first thing I would like to talk about is we're having a town hall for business owners next Thursday, August the 18th, 6 p.m., and that will take place in our community center down in Lower Huachuca City, and that's at 201 Yuma Street. Our mayor, Johan Wallace, came up with this idea, and the town council agreed, and we want to invite local businesses that are already established and future potential business owners who may want to open up in Huachuca City. And we're looking for their feedback as we can review the town code and work on streamlining the processes. We can, how can we be more welcoming? What are the benefits to operating in our town? What are your successes and challenges? So we really want to hear from the businesses in our community as to how we can help them prosper and potentially attract new businesses into the city as well.
So the mayor and the council will be there taking these suggestions.
Absolutely.
That sounds like it'll be a good idea.
Yes, it will be, and we're looking forward to it. So if you own a business in Huachuca City or are in the process of opening a business or even just thinking about opening a business, please do come because we really want to hear you.
Give us the dates and times again.
That is next Thursday, August the 18th, 6 p.m. at the Huachuca City Community Center in Lower Huachuca City.
And you have something coming up in September that you want to talk about.
Yes, we are restarting our Spotlight on Speakers program. One of our council members, Deborah Traits, came up with the idea of inviting the Arizona Corporation Commission chairwoman, Leah Marquez Peterson, to come down and talk about how the commission oversees utility rates and what happens when utility companies need a rise and how do they regulate that. And as well, Ms. Trait has also invited local nonprofit organizations that will be able to help residents with utility bills when they fall on hard times. So it's going to be a very good evening. That's going to be Wednesday, September the 14th, 6 p.m. at the Senior Center in Huachuca City. And that's kicking off our Spotlight on Speakers program. We'll have a local author in October. We'll have a lady coming from Tucson to talk about water preservation in November. So hopefully the schedule will be out soon once we finalize all of our speakers.
That's a great way to interact with your communities, and so having them be able to talk to all these people.
Absolutely. We want to bring more services to Huachuca City. We are a small community, and we know that there are a lot of residents who do need help now and again. And so instead of making them go to the organizations, we're bringing the organizations to them.
And you also were fortunate enough and clever enough to write for a STEAM grant. So tell us a little bit about what that is, because you were awarded that.
Yes, we got an award from the Arizona State Library for the amount of $3,500 to purchase STEAM to-go kits for checkout. STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts and Math, and it's being taught in all of the schools. It's been a focus for the last couple of years because that is the way the workforce is going. And these kits have fun games, fun books. They're for families. We'll have some that are for pre-K to 3rd grade and then 4th grade to 6th grade. They're beautiful, and the families will be able to check them out, take them home for 2 weeks, and they can play with them. And it's instilling the STEAM concepts in children and helping them to think about what they would like to do in the future. And we're very fortunate with the State Library in Arizona. They've given us, we just received a grant for some Wi-Fi hotspots, and because we know a lot of people in our community don't have internet access, so they can get a free library card and then they can check out a free Wi-Fi hotspot for 2 weeks.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so the Arizona Library has been very good to us in Huachuca City, and we're very grateful to them to have all these neat things that we couldn't have purchased without their help.
And how can people get a hold of you or the town or the library if they want to find information about anything you've talked about today?
Absolutely. They can call the town hall, which is open Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., except on Tuesdays it doesn't open till 1 p.m., and that phone number is 520-456-1354. At the library, we are open from Tuesdays to Saturdays, and our phone number is 520-456-1063, and we also have a Facebook page for each of the library and for the town.
And if people want to get a hold of you there, that's where you can find all that information for things happening. But this Thursday, throughout the dates one more time and what it is.
Absolutely. It's a town hall for business owners. That's this August 18th, next Thursday, 6 p.m. at the Community Center in Lower Huachuca City.
Well, Stephanie, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And Carol, how do they get a hold of us at the Sheriff's Office?
So reach out and look at what we have at our Facebook page, Cochise County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Mark J. Daniels. It'll lead you to links for our Twitter and our Instagram. And we also have our webpage at cochise.az.gov/sheriff. All kinds of fun things there, but don't forget to sign up for AlertSense.
First Watch on KWCD Country. It's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch with the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
Join us again next Friday morning, 7 to 8 a.m.
First Watch.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Only on 92.3 KWCD.